Hello, it's Jessica from House of Heyday, and this is my first embroidery video, which I'm pretty excited about actually, because embroidery is the thing that I've done for the longest time and I'm best known for. So today I want to talk to you about tools and equipment, so the things in my kit that I use more or less every day to do my embroidery. So I'm going to jump straight in to talking about embroidery frames. So primarily I use these. This is called a ring frame or a hoop with dowel, and I'll explain that in a minute. And I've got three different sizes of these. I've got 6, 8 and 10 inch. You'll see that they're bound. My ones are bound. They don't come like this. So I have wrapped a fabric tape around both parts of the ring frame. And that helps to keep the fabric tight in the frame and also stops the wood from marking the fabric. So most of the time I use these, whatever size is appropriate for the project, along with, this is my 10-inch one. It's got a piece of embroidery on it that I've been doing for my mum for about 6 years. Nearly finished it actually. So yeah, this is just a printed panel that I bought and I've embroidered for a present from mum. But the reason I'm showing you this is because it kind of puts the ring frame with dowel bit into context. So this is called a seat frame. So you literally sit on this part of it, which means that you've got both hands free to work. You don't have to hold on to the hoop. So I often, most of the time I use that one actually, but sometimes if I'm sitting at a table I use this, which is a barrel clamp. And this just literally clamps onto the side of a table, and then you put your ring frame or hoop into the barrel. So again, you've got both hands free to work. So the complete set, 6, 8 and 10 inch ring frame with dowel and a seat frame, which is this bit, and a barrel clamp. Now sometimes I work on projects, as might you, that are too big for the ring frames or that need a sturdier frame, and if that is the case then I use one of these. This is called a Slate frame. I'm just going to stand up so I can show it to you properly. This has got a commission on it at the moment that I'm working on. So this is a Slate frame. Beautiful commission. This embroidery, you might have seen pictures of it on my social media from 1715, I think it is. So I'm conserving this piece at the moment, but what I'm here to talk about is the frame. So this is a custom made slate frame. These are made by a carpenter for the Royal School of Needlework to RSN specifications basically. And this is, the slate frame is just, it's the mother of all embroidery frames. A lot of people say once you use a slate frame you never go back. And the benefit of it is that it keeps the fabric super tight while you're working on it. And again, it allows you to work hands-free, so you can work with one hand on top of the frame and one hand underneath the frame, passing the needle backwards and forwards, and that can really speed up your work. And slate frames are used with trestles, so kind of two wooden sort of pillars that sit either side of you, and then the frame sits on the top of them. So those are available from the Royal School of Needlework. So there's a few other things in my kit. Needles. Needles are a very confusing world, really. This is my needle case made for me by my mum. It's very cute. And you can make your own needle case, or there's loads available online, but I keep all of my needles in here. And the thing with needles is, if you go into a shop, well, when we're allowed to go back to the shops, and you look at a display of needles, there's loads of different ones. Some of them are kind of self-explanatory, so embroidery needles I use quite a lot. Some of them are a little bit more abstract. It's not that obvious what they're for, so something like chenille needles maybe. So there's 3 types of needles that I use the most for hand embroidery, and they are embroidery needles, which are sharp, then tapestry needles, which are blunt, so I use those for doing countered embroidery techniques. And then the other one is chenille needles, so they are big, they look like tapestry needles, but they're sharp, and I use them for ribbon embroidery because they've got quite a big eye, so you can fit the ribbons through the eye of the needle. In terms of needle sizing, again, it's quite confusing because the higher the number, the smaller the needle. Don't get bogged down in, oh well, I must use this needle for this stitch or this needle for this technique. It's not that prescriptive. Generally use the smallest needle that you feel comfortable with. So I find that the smaller the needle, the more control I have, but there's no point in using a needle that's so tiny that you spend half an hour trying to thread it. So the smallest needle that you feel comfortable with, and you can always try out a few different ones to work out what that is and what works best for you. So, I've forgotten to breathe. Scissors. 2 main scissors that I use are fabric scissors and embroidery scissors. With a lot of these things, with tools and equipment, you really do get what you pay for. My fabric scissors are by Fiskars, you know, from the orange handle. I think all Fiskars scissors have an orange handle. And these, you can maybe just see, they've got a little label on with my name on them, because I had these when I did my apprenticeship 16 years ago. And they're still going strong. So that's why they've got my name on them, so nobody can steal them. So Fiskars fabric scissors, and in my opinion, the best embroidery scissors in the world. Sorry if the sun's shining on them. These are Prim Professional embroidery scissors. They are so sharp, and if you only use them for threads, not metalwork threads or anything that's going to damage them like that, they will last you forever. So yeah, love those. Pins. So your commoner garden glass-headed pins, I use those a lot, but the other ones that I love, I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it, that I get this excited about pins. Merchant and Mills entomology pins. They're so fine. So entomology, I might say this wrong, but it's like, you know when people kind of collect butterflies and bugs and then pin them onto a board? That's what entomology is. So these pins are super, super fine. I use these loads for commissions. And generally, Merchant and Mills are a fabulous company who do amazing things. So go and have a look at them. Pencils. So I'm talking about pencils for transferring designs onto fabric. So this one is called, and again I've had it for years, it's called the Ultimate Marking Pencil for quilters and crafters. And this one, you can get different coloured leads for it. So you can choose a colour lead which is sympathetic to the colour of your fabric or the colour of your threads. And also the leads that are made for these don't smudge. In the absence of a proper quilter's pencil, a common, a garden, what are they called? Mechanical pencil. Much better than a regular everyday pencil because they're just a lot less smudgy. So great for transferring designs on. Tweezers. Very useful for unpicking or reverse stitching, as we say in the business. These ones are by a company called Hummingbird House. Don't know if you can, trying to give you a good view of those. You can see they're curved and they're really, really fine. And again, I've had these for years. They are fantastic. I use them for pulling out little bits of threads, unpicking stitches if I need to, because we all make mistakes, we're all human. And also for metal work as well, or gold work. And I also use these things for gold work. So this is called a malor. So that's a malor, also known as a laying tool. And this bad boy is a stiletto. Oh, it looks pretty in the sunshine. So the stiletto is for making holes in fabric. So you would make holes if you were doing gold work and you were plunging ends through to the back of the work, or if you were doing white work and making eyelets. And the malor, or the laying tool, can be used for all kinds of different things, but it's primarily used for gold work because touching threads with a real metal content can over time kind of damage them, like the oils in your skin have an effect on the metal threads, and also some of them are really easily sort of cracked. So you use a malor to place the thread rather than using your fingers. So that's what they're for. And then just a couple of other bits and bobs. Little screwdriver for tightening up your hoop or your ring frame. This one came with a sewing machine. A quick unpicker. Oh, can't get the lid off. So that's your little quick unpick. You can get these in any kind of haberdashery or online. You'll find those really easily. That's for literally unpicking stitches. Reverse stitching. This, you can get these little discs, which I think are called needle grabbers. This is a version of that, but you can buy this in B&Q or a DIY store, and it's, you know, you can get that sheeting that you put on shelves to stop stuff moving around. That's what this is, cut into a little piece. So if you're working on something that's really hard to pull the needle through, that might be for ribbon work, or you're working on a heavy fabric, you can use this to grab the needle and pull that through the fabric. And then tape measure. Mine's a little snail. So you can get tape measures all over the place. And finally, Scotch tape or magic tape. This is kind of an embroiderer's best friend, this kind of tape. We use it to remove kind of loose fibres and clean up projects. And it doesn't leave any kind of sticky residue behind, which is why we love it. So that's what's in my kit. I will be filming more embroidery videos over the coming weeks. I hope you've enjoyed my first one. If you've got any questions, just give me a shout, and thanks for watching. Bye.